Hello, property nomads. Hope you're doing well. Hopefully, you've enjoyed the last couple of videos where we've been looking at the water bills issue and also more service charge and ground rent chaos that's going on at the moment. This video is going to just focus on a couple of bits of news that have come out from the general election and also some law that was rushed through before Parliament stopped in order to go on the election campaign. As we said before, it would be a Labour majority. So, if you're not on the left-hand side, you might as well go out and put the effort in anyway. But I'm sure sentiment in this country is swinging to the left. That being said, I'll try and be as apolitical as possible. So we've got just a couple of quick articles to share with you today. And the first one, if I can just bring it up on the screen, is that the no-fault renters eviction bill ran out of time, so the government has scrapped that. I think we done a video on it a little while ago saying that that is going to be the case. If it wasn't on here, it would have been on the podcast, Property Nomads podcast, and it is run out of time. Since Sunak called a general election for the 4th of July, it means that one of the Conservatives' promises to abolish no-fault evictions before the next election, i.e. the one happening in 2024, has now been squashed. This is also why, again, if you take your politics seriously and you're very interested in what's going on, this is why you should take everything with a pinch of salt, because what someone says that they're going to do and what they actually then do normally are two different things, especially when it comes with the British public and when it comes with the British government. We have years and years and years of this experience when we will say one thing and then we'll do another. However, this isn't a history podcast or a history YouTube channel, so I'm not going to go through that. Point being, the no-fault evictions will now not happen. The renters reform bill will not go ahead. Just to reiterate, that bill, which would have seen basically landlords would have been banned from evicting tenants without a reason. We've discussed this ad nauseum on this channel and the podcast as well. There are pros and cons to that, but I'd probably sway on the side of being happy that that bill has not gone through, just because I think it would overcomplicate many things. Going to our second article, and this is that some leasehold reforms have become law, but without a ground rent cap. So this was pushed through just before the current government hung up his boots to go up on the election trail. And the reforms to the leasehold and freehold in England and Wales did become law. But again, as with most things that the government are doing, it seems to be a halfway house and no one seems to be overly happy with the outcome. So what the new law aims to do, it aims to make it cheaper and easier for people to extend their lease. It also makes it easier, or aims to make it easier, to have leaseholders be able to buy their freehold and also take over the management of their building. And again, the reason for this is there's been a lot of stories. We covered, I think in the previous video, a chap that had his service charge doubled from £4,000 to £800. Do go and check that video out. And we've seen this quite a lot, where ground rent, so the amount of rent that a leaseholder would pay their freeholder. There are examples of where that doubles every year or doubles every 2 years, and that can lead to very high ground rents and also service charge fees as well, where leaseholders feel that the freeholder or the management company for the freeholder have been taking the biscuit. I'll keep it clean. Have been taking the biscuit and been taking the mick for quite a while now with some of the increases. So this law would hopefully make it easier for people to buy their freehold and then also buy and take over the management of the building. That way, cost measures and things like that could be more stringently managed. However, in the same bill, they were looking to remove the ground rent for existing leaseholders, or at least cap it at £250 per year. That's been dropped. So if you're in a scenario or in a contract where your ground rent goes up by X% or is in line with inflation, whatever it might be, or it is whatever it is at the moment, there are no changes to that. That process is gonna keep happening. I think a lot of people are quite angry about that, and rightly so. Also, it doesn't help where the wonderful Levelling Up Secretary, Michael Gove, who's had pretty much every position in government in the last 5 years, he's standing down as an MP at the next election. He originally wanted to cap ground rents at nominal level, or so he said, so that's not been pushed through. So that's not good. The article just keeps going on about the pros and cons of the bill. But what Labour's shadow housing minister, Matthew Pennycook, has said is that his party would, and I quote, finish the job of finally bringing the archaic and iniquitous, I think that says, I need to learn that word, leasehold system to an end, end quote. So this bill has been in the rumblings for 22 years, apparently, and you wonder why we don't get stuff done in this country. 22 years, and you only get to a bill that is, as Lord Bailey of Paddington said, and I quote, this bill is suboptimal. It's not the revolution that many leaseholders across the country have been desperate for. But it's the only game in town, a game that's currently taken 22 years to get to this point, end quote. So as I said, you wonder why, I sometimes wonder how we get anything done in this country. So it seems that the government have rushed, or the current government have rushed something through. Yeah, okay, it's meh, probably the response, but it's left a lot of people frustrated because, as usual, people felt that you could have done more in order to get that through. Then I'll come to the caveat of this video and ask myself and ask you, why was it not pushed through? And it does make you wonder how many peers, how many MPs on both sides, or anyone that's a member of parliament, how many of them have an interest, shall we say, in freeholds? How many of them have an interest in large management companies that manage freeholds or big blocks of flats? Now, I don't have an answer to that, but I'm sure someone out there does. If you do have an answer to that, put it in the comments below. So this does make you wonder that maybe that's why it wasn't pushed through, because there are active interests within government, people that might not have been happy to see such things pushed through. And again, I'd recommend reading a book called, if I could find it, just behind me, give me a second. It's not Empire Land. I think it's a book called Parliament. I should have been better prepared for this. Let's have a quick look. Dum 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 dum. Can't quite see it right now. I'll find it for a future video. I think there's a book out there called Parliament, and that will give you a fascinating insight into why things sometimes do not happen. So yeah, half-assed measures by the looks of it. Not surprising. You shouldn't be surprised. I shouldn't be surprised by this. And as I said in the previous video, there's going to be a lot of campaign promises, election promises between this video coming out and the 4th of July. And as we've mentioned before, we believe it will be a Labour majority, which wouldn't be very surprising at all. You could argue it's good to see that the current government have taken a bit of action, but as always, a bit of action is not as good as a lot of action. And this whole thing just, it screams of a government that's confused and that needed to be seen to do something rather than nothing. Yeah, a lot of people are going to be left out here without a shadow of a doubt. One small favor to ask, two small favors to ask actually. Number one, please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and give us a like as well. The channel is growing nicely. It's good to get these rants off of my chest, and it seems that you are enjoying it as well, so that's always useful. And hopefully there's some useful content that comes out of it as well. But thank you very much. See you in the next video.